In 1992, we have the release of Mobile Suit Gundam 0083 Stardust Memory, which is a 13-episode OVA set between the events of Mobile Suit Gundam and the events of Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam. It was directed by Mitsuko Kase and Takashi Imanishi. Mitsuko Kase is credited with the first 7 episodes, whereas 8 to 13 is Imanishi. I'm discussing this via proxy of the compilation film, which is subtitled The Last Splits of Zeon, or there's another subtitle it has, The Afterglow of Zeon, which is a 2-hour compilation of the 13-episode OVA. What I sat down with the intention of viewing was the 13-episode OVA. I had an absolutely fantastic time watching it. Some of the best UC Gundam material I've ever seen so far, especially for something not directed by Tomino. I was extremely impressed by it, as with War in the Pocket, which I've discussed not that long ago. And what was interesting, and obviously what I've taken, I chose to take my screen caps from the compilation film, and I figured, this is film of the day, not OVA miniseries of the day. I was kind of pushing it with War in the Pocket as it was, so now I'll be more legit. And, as I did with the actual Mobile Suit Gundam, I discussed the free compilation films. That was my way of discussing Mobile Suit Gundam. And so I'll be more fair here and, use the compilation film screenshots of it as a way of discussing this series, this OVA. Well, actually, I'm going to be fairly lazy here. I'm not going to discuss it myself. I was fascinated. I've always been fascinated with the perspective of those. Imagine being a Gundam fan in the English-speaking world prior to the year 2000. How elusive and interesting and exciting and futuristic that prospect would have been. You would have been teased with these Gundam series, the snippets of it via VHS, Laserdisc. I can't imagine what television station would be broadcasting them anywhere in the world. Somehow not having to sit through one of these horrible dubbings. And then you've got this, and you're thinking, my God, imagine if I had just all of Gundam. I could watch Gundam whenever I want. Wouldn't that be a paradise? And in the 2000s, you were getting there when you went to this place called the internet. And then in the 2010s, when we entered cyberspace, and we can literally get Gundam whenever we want. We can sit down and watch it whenever we want, but there's no distinguishing between the digital and the reality anymore. And there's no outside. Outside stopped being a thing around 2011 or so, 2010, 2009 maybe. And so now you're in a place where I'm very fascinated with the perspectives of those who are watching Gundam, so just, oh my God, grateful of its presence prior to the onslaught of cyberspace, social media, and being able to watch whatever you want, more or less, in the 2010s onward. So let's look at the older IMDb reviews for the OVA Mobile Suit Gundam 0083 Stardust Memory. From Hanage on the 19th of October 1998, isn't that a long time ago? 9 out of 10, the best Gundam story I have ever watched. This is the most suitable story for military-based fiction in the Gundam series. Only if the story did not have chill casting comic and love romance parts, I would give it 10 points. Meanwhile, Sargonayas on the 7th of January 2000 gives it 10 out of 10. It's very, very good. This has got to be one of the best of the Gundam series there is. Sure, there may be too much romance in it for some people, but deep down you can't help but cheer for the socially awkward but very capable rookie pilot hero, Ku Uraki. Definitely. RYX from the 13th of May 2000, possibly the best of the lot. I've been a fan of Gundam for almost 20 years. Wow. Fan of Gundam for almost 20 years in the years 2000. That's amazing. And I've seen it through its various incarnations. While I'm no authority on anime, I definitely know what I like. I used to think Zeta Gundam was the pinnacle in mecha design and plot twists, but this one brings it all home. Wow. The character design, storytelling, and music are all A+, number 1. It's one thing to just think of them as giant robots or big tanks, but this series brought out how hard it was to be a pilot of one of these devices, both physically as well as psychologically. If you can, I advise getting it. Aj Servo from the 31st of August 2000. This kind of anime should win awards. Man, when I first saw this, I was skeptical because it is about 5 years older than Gundam Wing, which is also one of my favorites. I found out this OVA series to be so much more. The plot of this Gundam series is in the Universal Century timeline, not the After Colony like Gundam Wing. The plot was great and the animation was too. The characters are also very nicely done. Overall, I give the OVA series a 10 out of 10, looks like it. Yeah, 5 asterisks, 10 out of 5 asterisks. Cool. A real treat for fans of mecha anime, says CPM6 on the 14th of December 2000. Gundam 0083 is one incredible ride, with top animation, both the character movement and mecha animation is very fluid and the detail is astounding. Music and mecha design done both by Hajime Katoki, one of the top designers for Gundam, and Shoji Kawamori, creator/mecha designer of such anime classics as Macross and Escaflowne. I don't know what that is, to be honest. The characters are well, I know Macross, obviously. I'm not that familiar with. I haven't actually sat down and viewed much Macross, but I know of it. To be fair, I mean, who doesn't? We all know it. The characters are well designed and very realistic, avoiding the big eye stereotype. The story takes place between the original Gundam and Zeta Gundam, following events in the original. New Gundams being developed by the Earth Federation. However, a remnant Zeon force steals one of the Gundams, one armed with a nuke, no less, and it's up to Ensign Q Uraki to take one of the other units and join in a desperate search across Earth and space before it's too late. As panic grips the Federation, small conspiracies begin to form on both sides, which ultimately culminate in the events of Zeta. The only problems with 0083 are a few plot holes and the general ineffectiveness of the main character. Gundam main characters have a tendency to be losers, but poor Ko goes way over the top. There's also a romance that feels rather tacked on, but apart from that, a good show. Here we go. From Spock 065 on the 25th of December 2000, Gundam Wing is nothing to this. For all the craze over the Gundam Wing and Endless Waltz, people are so swept up in the hype that they don't know that there is another Gundam. Wing and Endless Waltz is an alternate Gundam universe, like when comics do the What If issue. 0083 has a collection of romance, action, politics, and amazing music and animation. The Japanese always try to put lots of little stories and elements into one thing. This makes it enjoyable for all. 0083 follows the original Gundam storyline, and the Gundams in the movie are more realistic than Wing. Wing has all these swords, blades, and close combat weapons, but if you think about it, Gundams are like big walking tanks. If you were to make a Gundam, you would put guns, missiles, and long-range weapons as opposed to swords. It starts off right away with test pilots on a secret mission, then blasts off into space. 0083 is a military-based story with full of life's inconveniences. Like all anime, you see the main character's problems and trials, but through it all you are bombarded with rock music and beautiful animation. The characters in 0083 don't sound like robots in Wing. They have more character and personality. And think about it, why would kids be driving Gundams? Let's get real, if you want Gundam for more mature people that takes a brain to understand it, check out Gundam 0083, Stardust Memories, the best so far. One for the history books, says Fry E. Farnsworth. Nice, it's a Futurama reference, I assume. And on the 11th of August 2001, pretty early for that. Here is one of the two best OVAs for the real Gundam universe, Universal Century, only tied with 8th MS team in story and follow-through. I'll have to talk about that eventually. This is a unique telling of the events transpiring in the year 0083. What's unique is that it is told from the perspective of a test pilot not trained for combat, Ko Uraki. There's very good character development for not only Ka, but of all of the main characters, tied in mechanical beauty with 8th, but it is older and falters only little in this area. A great series to see, surpasses Wing and Endless Waltz by tenfold. A tribute to anime, go see it. 8 out of 10 from O_Lopez on the 25th of October 2002. 8 out of 10, if it's Gundam, it's good. Stardust Memories is another great installment of the Gundam universe, set in the year 0083 of the Universal Century, UC, 4 years after the 1-year war of UC 0079. It tells the story of the last remnants of Zeon who launch a last all-out attack on the Earth Federation. The Zeon forces, led by Agil Delaz, sends Ace Anavel Gato to steal a new Gundam that has a nuclear warhead. On his way, always, is rookie Ko Uraki, an Earth Federation forces cadet who will do everything he can to stop Gato. There isn't a lot of humour, and the love relationship between Uraki and Nina Purpleton is bland, but it's got the signature of a Gundam series, drama and battles of epic proportions, character development and main characters that die. There are a lot of conspiracies that are hard to understand, and one has to remember that this series relates a lot to the original Gundam, past, and Zeta Gundam, future. And then we'll give it one more. An incredible branch in the UC timeline, 10 out of 10 from Dark Genius, 27th of October 2002. Stardust Memories is by far one of the best and most enjoyable of the whole Gundam collection. As its ratings show, most others agree that this series offers the best of mecha in recent times. It has everything that one could want in a series: great battles, cool characters, likable villains, and of course it continues with the Gundam tradition of showing both sides of war. It even has some comedy and romance, although somewhat annoying. Kyle Uraki rhymes just a little bit less than Amuro, so you won't have to wear earplugs while watching. The best aspect of the series has to be the battles. Throughout of the series, we see the use of 3 incredible Gundams. Each of them has their own niche that sets them apart. The GPO-1 is the classic Gundam for all purposes. The GPO-2 has first strike capabilities that basically starts Operation Stardust. The GPO-3 is just an incredible mobile armor/suit. Besides this, the battles are very even, unlike MSG's battles. The Zeon have equality in the way of mobile suits. But anyways, this series is a must-see for any Gundam fan and is the coolest villain ever. Long live Annabelle Gatto, the Nightmare of Solomon.